Today, we're lucky enough to be joined by Vintage Geek Central's professional geek, writer, collector, and quizmaster, Marshall Julius, as well as award-winning makeup designer, department head, and the B in K&B EFX, Howard Berger. So join us as we talk about everything from prop and toy collecting to the ultimate test of geekiness.
How in 1992 was The Simpsons credited with saving the life of an 8-year-old boy?
In real life?
Yeah.
Was credited for saving an 8-year-old boy.
Yes.
Wow.
You are now listening to the podcast for geeks and the stuff they love, where each week we'll talk about everything from anime to movies, games, and prop collecting with the people who create and love it. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Vince.
I'm James.
I'm Marshall.
I'm Howard.
And this is your Geek Fix.
Today, more than anything else, the opportunity, we're always excited to meet other geeks and to talk about geeky things and collectors. That's really our audience here, of people to watch. And all you have to do is just look behind Marshall and you'll see a smidgen of his collection. Journalist background, a writer, but collector, but more than anything, I mean, geek. Take us back. Tell us your backstory of like what brought you into being, well, essentially being a geek, like the things that you love.
I think you're just born that way, aren't you? Really, you're born that way, and you have positive influences that let you be that way or encourage you to be that way. But it's sort of like something that you're born with. For me, it was my mom was a huge movie fan. She grew up going to the movies 2-3 times a week when she was a girl, and every Saturday afternoon we would watch old movies together, and she would tell me about them. My cousin Ronald, who's 4 years older than me, he's a producer now. He was a collector, and I used to go to his house, and I was just sick with jealousy. I was sort of like really admiring about the fact that he could have not only like the trading cards from Star Wars, but also the boxes that the trading cards were sold in. And he had the wrappers, and he had, and I just found the whole thing very compelling and very exotic and very attractive. And I was just, as long as I can remember, I just was drawn to stuff and things. So that's it really. It's like there's all sorts of ways that I can rationalize it. Like when you say, why do you like monsters? It's like you can say, well, it's because I'm a total freakazoid outsider, and that's how monsters are treated in movies, so you kind of relate to them. You say, why are you a collector? You can say maybe it's because you own a bit of a film, and it makes you sort of feel like you're a part of it or closer to it, but it's all rationalizations.
Yeah.
I'm a slave to my impulses, and whether that's drinking a good scotch or buying, 300 comic books, then I just go with it. I don't question that.
We've all been there.
Right. Drink 300 scotches, yeah, and buy one comic.
Gotta be a good comic book.
It's like, you're often asked, like, oh, where did it begin for you, or how do you start? It's like, I just don't remember ever being any different. Just like from the moment that I can, as far back as I can remember, I was into horror and monsters and science fiction and robots and aliens and space and spaceships, and it's just that's the stuff that just did it for me always. The first comics I ever read were horror comics. I didn't actually read superhero comics till I was in my 20s. For me, it was all horror comics and vampires and werewolves. I just found the whole thing just so fascinating, really.
Yeah. My earliest memory, because when I was born, naturally the first thing I can remember actually going to the theater to see was Star Wars. So that was like earliest memory of anything in my life would be that. And so, naturally, and this is like I could just go home and watch it again or anything like that. This is, back in the day when I think originally too, they not even release them on video or something like that. It seems like I couldn't watch it at home, so it was just reimagining of it and things like
you
that.
didn't see Star Wars at the cinema? You saw it on
No, I went and saw it I was born in 1974. So my first in theater movie that I can remember. I know there's other movies that we probably went to was the first, first release of Star Wars.
That's not a bad first memory.
No. I even remember the standees, all that stuff. I mean, it just really stood out in some of my mind. But you know what
I remember about Star Wars the first time I saw it? My mum took me to see it in the West End in a really big cinema, the Odeon Leicester Square. And I vaguely remember watching the film. I remember the trench run at the end. But the thing that really made a big impression on me was when we came out of the film into the foyer, they had all these tables out and they were covered in merchandise. And it was like, I just lost my shit. I mean, and it was like, Mum, can I just have everything, please? Yeah. And she got me these 2 amazing posters and the program, which I've still got. Mm-hmm. I got pictures of me with the posters in the background. There were the 2 droids in Tatooine, and there was the Darth Vader with the 2 stormtroopers behind him on the Tantive 4 set, right? Also kind of from the beginning. And I just remember being like, I dug it all so much. I mean, it's like, I love that film. And now I get to have stuff from the film. It was like, that was it. I was like never going to be normal after that.
We actually met up because of that film.
Yeah.
Well, the films after that.
Technically, Yeah. So Vince got to go to the. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go
Who
ahead.
goes first? Right. Yes. So Marshall and I met up at the prop store. Sneak preview of Darth Vader's lightsaber, the one they used in the stunts. It's a special kind. It's also one of the first times that an actual screen-used lightsaber was sold off, I believe. I saw a guy on Facebook has already made a replica of it, like very intricately detailed.
Is this one
so they can connect wood, isn't it? I mean, it's like 3 pounds worth of materials, but it's what it was used for. Like, I posted about it on my social, and somebody came out and said, "Oh, I can't believe everyone's making a fuss about all of this. It's it's just, what is it? It's a bit of plastic. It's a bit of wood. It's a
piece
like,
of history.
Yeah, but it's not that it has an intrinsic value. It's that it was used in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, you goon. It's like, why'd you have to ruin it? It was like Darth Vader's lightsaber, for God's sake. He fought,
it's just
he
the
kept
model
trying to kill his son, and who can't relate to that?
Yeah.
Fathers and sons, and parents and children. It's like, who hasn't wanted to take a lightsaber to their kids?
I actually gave my son one. So
What, a lightsaber or a lightsabering?
No, a lightsaber. Yeah.
So this was the stunt prop, like basically. So you have hero props, stunt props, things like that. This is the one that just basically was so they could run around with it, throw it up against things and stuff like that. That's the one that you guys got to see. Or was this the one that they could connect the spinning rod thing to, with the motor in it?
The spinning rod thing. I have no idea what.
Oh, really? So the initial movies, again, kind of low, technology compared to what we could do with it now, is that they had to have a little thing up their sleeve to power it, small motor in the bottom, and then it would spin a rod. The rod was covered with reflective tape, so it would give it that look really on even on film of that glowing saber. But it was,
Jeremy,
so they'd stand there like this.
I thought that they were just lightsabers.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
It just
happened to come out
right
of the wood.
The end of the lightsaber, they turn it on, the laser bit comes out, and they're
Don't break the illusion, Jeremy.
You're talking about winning.
We'll have to put spoiler warnings in.
This was the one that Bob Wall, the stuntman, actually held in his hands and had all the fights with. It's covered in chips and dents and stuff, because not only they said that they used it for Empire, they also used it for the Fighting Jedi. They also used it to rehearse with, because they only spent millions and millions of dollars on those films, and so of course they had to use the same prop not only twice in 2 movies, but also to rehearse with. But the whole nature of the Star Wars universe is that everything's dinged and beaten up. So I'm sure they were doing it for that reason, and not because they were being cheap.
Yeah.
Never.
Never.
Well, it's like the the props. Chris Bernardo is a friend of ours. He's of the Wand Company, and they make a bunch of toy replicas, props, things like that. They made this. They make they made these little sonic screwdrivers that can control your TV and things like that. But they went and scanned. They wanted to get one of the original props, which I guess like David Tennant had one of them and stuff. But they went out and got it, and it was just wrapped inside of a paper bag at his house, I guess, and things. And they scan and stuff. But then he got to see some of the other props from Doctor Who, and it's just basically, tinfoil rolled up and banged down.
Well, that's sort of a tradition in Doctor Who, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 60s, it was literally just cardboard boxes covered in tinfoil.
Yeah,
and that was when they had some money to spend on.
And reuse as much as you could too. Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny.
I like that stuff.
When you mention that, but those, although they used very cheap materials, wow, those monsters in Doctor Who were really convincing, weren't they? They didn't look cheap at all. They were really impressive.
Oh yeah,
I got my Cyberman headset on right now.
I think the idea was that it was mainly for kids, and kids are stupid, and whatever. It's like, but it was fun. I think that Doctor Who had the imagination, and it sort of exceeded its grasp. But we were there for it. We were like, I'm willing to suspend disbelief. I'm willing to look at that as basically a lunchbox, and believe that it's actually a world-destroying robot.
Oh yeah.
I think the story helped push part of it. Like, if you could look past the visual side of it, the story helped, go along. Nowadays,
my theory is that before, I mean, look, you look at the odd Ray Harryhausen movie. You look at Ray Harryhausen movies, and those special effects were on point. But most films, you look at Forbidden Planet, and they had all the money in the world. The MGM threw at that film, and it's amazing. But most films don't have that.
The most expensive prop came from that movie.
So I think that what made that the earliest generation of fantasy films work were the performances, and I think that's something that's a little bit lost today. I think the things that you would go and see a Boris Karloff film, you would go and see a Vincent Price film, and they were sort of the special effects in their films, weren't they? You would go, and it was like, because Vincent Price's voice would be enough for me to want to see a Vincent Price film, and the way that he sold it, the way that the performance, it was like they made it. They were the special effects. Nowadays, there's the idea that you want to go and see this film because it's got amazing dinosaurs in it, or this or that. And nobody says, I cannot wait to see it because Scarlett Johansson's in it. Like, no one in the history of cinema has ever said that, really. It's like, no offense to Miss Johansson or Miss, but
she's been on our podcast before.
It's just
I missed that one.
There was a time when the actors were so integral to those movies, and I think a lot of the newer films, I mean, the last 20, 30 years, those big performances have been calmed down, have been sidelined. You just don't get those personalities anymore, and so it's become more effect centric, and I sort of miss that. I miss those big personalities. There used to be actors who would open movies. That was what it was all about. It was like you had a name and people would go to see a film for that. But now it's all franchises, isn't it? People go to the franchises. It's not about the actors. They're almost sort of interchangeable. And,
I think it goes back to what we were saying in the previous episode, that with AI, you can literally recreate anything. So why, like, in one film you can use AI, and in the next one you can use the exact same AI, and you're going to get the exact same result or very similar. But as you say, like, it's the actor that really brings the film to the film. So it doesn't seem that there's as much motivation.
There's the human. Art is meant to be made by humans for humans. AI is a tool that can save you time and should be there to do the grunt work, should to free you up to do the things, the more pleasurable, the more creative things. When people start using AI to to
take over the
replace
creative
the
parts.
imagination and replace people. It's like, what is our end game here? Did somebody watch Terminator and think, you know what, that's a good idea?
Sign me
Let's
up.
make ourselves extinct. Fuck it. We don't need, it's one thing. Okay. We don't want to cook. We don't want to clean. We don't want to do all that stuff. Great if we can get robots to do that. But wouldn't it be amazing if we could have them do all the fun stuff as well? They can eat for us. They can, they can smoke weed. They can go and have sex for us. Why don't they make movies? And then let's send the AI robots to go and watch the movies.
Hey.
And then we can just be like batteries in the Matrix.
I've
feeding
watched
the robots.
I've watched Wall-E, and I think that's the future that I want.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
I gotta gain
I have
some
no
weight for
problem with
that.
AI if it's used like a tool. It's like I'm not. Look, I mean, AI is great if you like. I used it to transcribe. We used it to transcribe the interviews that we did for the book, and you have to go over it really carefully. But in that the grunt work of actually transcribing 2 hours of conversation, I used to have to take me 4 or 5 hours. I mean, it would have taken twice as long to do this book. And we did 80 interviews for Making Monsters. And excuse me if I drag the podcast back to talk about.
No, please do.
AI was useful for that, but it was like, then I could say, hey, AI, you heard the interview. Why do you write it for me? It's like, why not just completely remove myself from the process?
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of, art, you mentioned, I mean, like in collecting, again, it's hard not to keep looking in your background and trying to pick things out and stuff. But,
Daleks.
I often have that when I talk to people. They just their gaze drifts off and they look behind them. Like I'm trying not.
We've all kind of got our little collections going, but at the same time, I think the question that I get asked a lot is the why, because I don't have tons of people that I know that really know what it means to be a geek. I don't know, but at the same time, like
that's why we all hooked up, right?
Right. The why collect, but more so like why do you collect? What you collect? Like what is it that you're? I don't know. For me, for example, I do shift a little bit. Like I'll get focused in on a certain area at a certain moment. I just got started doing some Marvel things again. For example, and so that's kind of where the funds are going. But at the same time, and it kind of goes back and forth. Like, what is it right now? Is kind of your passion as far as your collecting goes.
Oh, that's just completely Howard's fault. For the last 5 years, I've just collected nothing but monsters. It's like, I was always, my thing is like, I love Star Wars. I realized that I'd have to focus on one character or another because it's just impossible. I mean,
right.
Han Solo's my favorite character in Star Wars, but I don't want to collect a human male because it's like, you might as well just collect Ken dolls,
Yeah.
So I think Darth Vader is a cool character and the coolest looking character. And so that's how I express my love of Star Wars. There you go. So I do have lots of other bits and pieces, and it's gone. But it's aliens, monsters, and robots for me.
What's your most recent?
Since we've been working on the book, it's like I always love monsters, but I mean, inspired by Howard and all our conversations and all the people that we've spoken to. I mean, we talk about monsters and monster movies a lot, so that has really been my main focus.
So what's your most recent purchase?
Creatures from the Black Lagoon, entirely because of Howard.
Yeah.
You should ask Howard. He loves the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Well, we saw your back scratcher. What's your most recent purchase, or what's your most recent thing that you guys, your newest treasure?
Now, if I tell you that and my wife sees this, she's going to know that I'm just a liar when I say I haven't bought anything for a while.
I want to get one of these.
I actually just got the I got from Sideshow. I got the Dirty Harry.
You did?
Oh, nice.
Which is very cool. And it comes with his little police badge and his gun and stuff. So I'm kind of having some fun with that. And
so you got Lucky Punk.
Yeah.
Pardon?
You got Lucky Punk.
And I got my back scratcher, of course, which
that's pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good.
It is. It's not bad, isn't it?
No.
Especially good because I asked John to get it for me And then he sent it to me, and I said, "What do I owe you?" He said, "It's a present." It's like, I wish everything was like that. That was just amazing. But no, I'm quite. I get more than I should. Howard's trying to encourage me to kind of calm down a bit, but it's like some days I do better at calming down than others. At the moment, I'm in merch mode, so it's like I'm more likely to be giving stuff away. I've been making, badges and stickers and stuff for our book and stuff. So now I just I give badges like I gave, Vinz, I gave him some stuff.
He's grabbing it. He's got
and,
it close by.
Like a guy came to the door the other day, a delivery guy, and he said,
Oh,
there you go.
Very good.
He said to me, "Oh, your book's coming out soon." I said, yeah. Not remembering at the moment. And then he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get a copy." And then the penny dropped, and I said, "I gave you a badge, didn't I, the last time you were here?" And he was like, yeah. It's like, So I like giving stuff away. I like giving stuff out.
Yeah.
That's also fun for me.
But if I had something to send to you wouldn't turn it down, would you?
Well, if it was like a Star Wars prequels thing, then I would send it back to return to
I don't do the prequels. I sent you something actually to be funny. Because I kind of got to think against that. But yeah, no, I got something I think I want to send your way. But at the same time, but
that's my secret power. I was never good at making money, but I was always good at people I was always somebody people wanted to give stuff to.
Yeah.
So it was like swings and roundabouts.
that works. Yeah. I got something I'm going to send your direction. What
There's
about
always, I always think, okay, maybe, I've gotten most of everything that I want, but then I'll go online and I'll see something amazing. And obviously it was the Jaws 50th anniversary this year, and everyone's gone merch mad for Jaws. And, so maybe I got a few Jaws bits and pieces. It's possible.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's possible.
Like stuff.
We won't tell your wife, but
she knows. She'll come in and she'll say, "Was that new? Is that new?" And I go, "Well, define new, because I've sneaked it in a month ago and you didn't see it. So now technically it's not that new."
Technically, it's 20 years old. So
yeah.
I hide everything
if you actually
behind my green
trace the
screen.
Rancor that I just got, it's 40 years old. So
wow,
maybe it's new to me, is what you mean.
Right.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you still have?
Howard, although he's sitting with a very plain background, Howard does have stuff. Howard has a lot.
I do.
You have some full scale things that I've seen.
These makeup guys, they make their own stuff.
Yeah.
So many of the times we interview, so many of the interviews that we did, in the background, there's like these amazing artists who've got their own paintings and
I saw a full scale witch from Wizard of Oz in your background at one point in time.
From Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah.
No, we have a lot of stuff. So I have a lot of stuff. So yes. It's not as collectible as you guys. It's stuff that I really like. It's mostly art, a lot of sculptural stuff or paintings or things like that. I really really like. So I think I'm done purchasing like figures and things like that. If anything, I'm starting to let a lot of that stuff go. But just because it's just space, and I'd rather have space for some other things. But like in my house, my wife made me we call it the Haunted Lounge, and it's Haunted Mansion themed, and it has the big stretch posters in there. It's all painted black, and it's kind of like the cigar room, and you sit in there and you have cigars and a whiskey or a scotch and you just chill. And it's got the giant poster I bought years and years ago, the attraction poster, and it's got cool Haunted Mansion stuff in there.
Yeah,
so
you got the Haunted Mansion sconce thing, the from the entrance.
I haven't put one in yet. We have molds to that at K&B.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I do want to make one and have at least one or two in the corner. I think would be cool, holding the candles.
Well, I'm sure we can sort it.
Yeah, I just have to do that. Yeah, I have to get to that eventually. So, it's like you surround yourself with things that you love and that make you happy. And that's really what it is. And a lot of people don't understand that, including our wives. They understand it makes us happy, but they don't understand why. And a lot of it is it brings back great memories. and it's things that you wanted when you were a kid that you couldn't afford. Like I'm a huge mask collector. I have a storage unit just filled with bins of masks, which is ridiculous. But I can't help myself because that's how I started making masks. And I love masks. Like I started to get Marshall a little bit into that. Like I sent him a couple of really cool masks, some vintage stuff, and
they're all in the back
yeah,
there.
they're all back
very
there.
nicely
So,
displayed.
and there's more to come and all that stuff, because I just think masks are just so cool, So, but it's just makes you happy, and even if that happiness lasts for 30 seconds, it's a good 30 seconds of happiness, So yeah.
Are you talking about collecting or sex? I'm not
Well,
sure.
I was going to lead into that. I said both have the same level, same time frame for the most
You can
part.
You
get
said
masks
30
involved.
seconds. I thought you meant sex twice.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it.
with the smoke break.
Yeah, with the smoke. Or a TV break, even better.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
like, where's the clicker?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but no, I think that's also what why Marshall and I connected, right? And that was a relationship we met almost 23 years ago, and connected right out of the gate. And we hadn't seen each other in person since what was it, Marshall? 2006, right?
When you came over to promote the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe,
right.
and Howard made me up as Mr. Tumnus, and I was covering it for the Sunday Express, and yeah, we just hit it off because Howard we were all into the same things, and you meet your people. My mum always used to say that if you were a Star of David and was Jewish, and that you would you could meet another Jewish person anywhere around the world, and you would have that shared heritage. And no disrespect to my religion, but I don't really feel that way. If I see somebody wearing a Monster shirt or a Star Wars shirt, I will go up to them and talk to them for 3 hours about Star Wars or monsters, and you're just straight in it, and they're like your best friend, immediately. Yeah. And so that's my people, and that's why
I really loved. The way we met was also one of the things you said is, I really like your pin. It's like really symbolic of everything. It's like light side and dark side. So I had a lapel pin. And the joke was it came with the jacket.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was just there. It was so random. But I liked it.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. I mean, you got your in. I like your T-shirt. I like your badge, or it's like you have beautiful eyes. I mean, whatever works really.
Yeah. They're always good.
For us,
all of these things are applicable.
And you're bold, I'm bold. Let's talk to be friends.
It's about attention, I think. Also.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to hop off. I'm sorry.
Thank you
Really
so much for joining us, for hanging out with us.
Sure, my pleasure.
Most important collectible is to you, like the typical favorite child sort of question.
Right.
My favorite. Obviously, you can see much more of my stuff now with the. My favorite item. It's got to be something that's. It's not just it's not just what it is, but it was the circumstances that I got it in. So years ago, I went with my mom to LA. We were on holiday and we did Disneyland and Universal Studios and all that stuff. And I found a really great collector store that I was very interested to go. And it was the first time that my mom had ever driven in the States, and she was quite nervous about going on the freeway, and it involved a quite a long freeway trip. But she's my mum and amazing, and would do anything, kind of for me, including being terrified of driving on the freeway, but driving on the freeway. And she took me to this store, and then she just waited. And I don't know how long I was in there, a while, spending all my holiday money on Star Wars stuff, and I got this Cali Originals Chewbacca mug, and now they made the first wave of official Star Wars merch. Everybody makes a big fuss about Kenner and stuff, but there were lots of companies that made Star Wars stuff, and Cali Originals, they made these great Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, and Chewbacca mugs, these figural mugs, and I got that, and it turned out that it was probably a prototype because the underside of it is blank, and I've seen
Mhm.
online that they're all printed. They're all kind of etched with the Cali originals, and they got trademark on them. But this one didn't. So I think it was it's quite a rare piece. But to me, what it signifies more, apart from the fact that it's incredibly collectible and a really beautiful thing and in perfect condition, is that for me, it's kind of like a reminder of like how far my mum would go to kind of please me,
Aw.
what great mum she
Yeah,
was.
that's cool.
And stuff. So it's like it's so much in one thing. So it would have to be that. I gotta say that same day, Star Trek 4 had just come out. We after that we went to the cinema and we went to see Star Trek: The Voyage Home, and it was just about the perfect day, I've got to say.
Mhm.
Do
So
do
there
you
you
keep
go.
that mug out, or do you like?
Oh no, I keep that out. I keep it
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Oh,
Hang on a
okay.
second.
Oh boy.
Everything is
Oh,
out.
hey, you're
Oh
mobile.
yeah.
I
Wow.
am.
You gonna take us on a little tour? Let's.
So there you go.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, there it
wow.
is. Oh, that's the one
That's
I
a
thought
cool
it was.
scope.
Yeah.
And
Very
there's
good.
the Daddy Harry that I just got.
Wow.
Nice.
And this is my Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger doll.
As governor.
You work hard and if you play by the rule, you cannot name anything.
That's
Wow.
There you go. See, not just like a Terminator. My
Yeah.
favorite corner of this room though is
Oh,
here,
wow.
where
cool.
Wow, look at all those. Holy
it's just
cow.
lots of little toys which make me happy.
Yeah.
Those Pez dispensers up top, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Oh
Those
yeah,
are
I love
bigger-
Pez dispensers.
What's your oldest figure or whatever that you got over there? You got anything from
I've got
your
some
early
I've got,
childhood that's
I've got
yours? I mean,
some-
that's
I
all
suppose
thing?
I've got some action. I got an action figure from Thunderball, but I would say it's more of an in-action figure because it has literally 0 points of articulation. And
Oh
it
yeah.
looks like it was no disrespect to blind people, but it looks like it was painted by a blind person because it's just really just
See if I can-
or a monkey. Let's say monkey. That's less offensive. I'll say.
There you
looks like
go. Yeah, yeah.
monkey.
Yeah, I'll edit that.
A
I've
blind
got an
monkey.
Indiana
Oh, no, I've
Jones.
ruined it. No.
I've got a little Indiana Jones. I think that's the only figure I have now that's from when I was a kid that, made it into the dirt and then I played with and everything else. That's still, and he still has the whipping hand. It wasn't a karate thing. It was the whipping hand that he has that
pinky.
still
I like
still
it.
has a little bit. Yeah. It's because of the black
I got lots
leather
of
and all
old
this.
books now. I've got my mum gave me all of her old books that she collected, all the film review annuals from the 1940s, and
Oh, wow.
I've got lots of old stuff
Wow.
that I've kind of gathered over the years. But I suppose
Mm.
most of my collection is sort of like 70s, 80s. I mean, look, the first thing I ever collected were badges, right? I suppose in America they call them pins. But that's
Oh,
some of
wow.
my-
Hey, I have that same Donald Duck pin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Must have gone to Disneyland around the same time.
Disneyland a long time ago.
Yeah.
I actually
And
got a
then
pin
there's-
in
And then
this
there's
morning.
this. And I also,
Yeah.
hey, there you go. And I also got lots of,
Oh, you got a
magnets,
Darth Vader there.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I am like a magpie. I just see this stuff, and I just
That's
have to look
shiny.
at it. I put metal sheeting down on one wall so I can put all my fridge magnets.
Well, that's smart.
Because we don't have a fridge big enough to accommodate.
Do you have kids or anything? Or
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I have. I
How
have a
did
fully
you
functioning
handle that?
male. I've not actually managed to produce children, even with my many interests. But yeah, no, I've got 3 girls.
Yeah. Okay. Were they allowed in the? I asked Dan. One of our friends is Dan Lanigan. He collects all the like studio props and things like that, and he has a few kids. And I asked him. I was like, well, so how do you like what's allowable in your household as far as I mean, my stuff's up for grabs. I guess I haven't had any problems with it.
When they were small,
Mhm.
I don't know. I always had distraction toys.
Oh yeah.
I had distraction toys at a kid height, so that they could basically and they could play with those. There was lots of stuff. I was getting lots of stuff that they could play with, but they knew that if it was like on a shelf, it wasn't for them. And actually,
Off
they were
limits.
really good about it. We used to operate a look with your eyes, not with your hands policy, and they would always, whenever they had a friend round, because my kids were used to being in a house full of posters and toys and books,
Right.
and, all that crazy stuff. And so they would sort of get used to it. Then their friends would come in and their eyes would go wide as they would see, all the crazy stuff. And then it was sort of like momentarily remind my children that, they live in a slightly different house, maybe to their friends.
Right.
But they used to police their friends. If anybody
that's
got
good.
too close to wanting to
Yeah.
touch stuff, they were great. They were always, I got to say, they were always amazing. They were always really good about that. I knocked stuff over all the time, but they were very good.
My wife is not a geek. I've told these guys before, like if I want to have her watch something with me, I have to kind of trick her into it. So like when we watched
Gotham.
Doctor Strange,
Okay.
I started it where he's the surgeon, not the very, very intro part, but the part where he's the surgeon and stuff. And she gets really into the story because it's a pretty long story just about him being a surgeon and getting this handicap and all this other stuff. And by the time that she was into it, it was, it is when it
was
starts
too
to
late.
go off and
You
does.
tricked
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the way I have to do things, or she's, she doesn't understand fully my interest in things like that. Like, is your wife into any of this stuff, or does she?
She likes
Under-
she likes horror, so she's
Does
not
she?
so much
Oh,
into,
that's good.
she's not so much into superhero stuff, though she does indulge me. We just watched Superman the other night.
Oh, yeah,
But we
the
watch
new
a
one.
lot of horror movies. We watch a lot of thrillers, and so she's more into that. And occasionally,
Okay.
although she always said she wasn't into science fiction, she does sometimes get into, like, she watched Killbot, that
Oh yeah, I
so
kind
that
of
was
like that
fun.
one.
And
That
so
was
she
good.
she
Yeah.
liked that. And so, you never know, but she definitely, we watch a lot of horror movies together, lots of monster movies and stuff, which is great because that is really like my number one obsession at the moment. Certainly,
All right,
I
top
blame
5.
Howard for that as well.
Yeah.
What's your top 5 horror movies? Because I need something to watch after
Oh,
this
there you
weekend.
Wow, my top 5 horror movies. Well, okay, the original Romero, Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
I love that film. I love the fact that here's a guy who he invented the zombie genre. He completely reinvented what zombies were, and then reinvented what horror movies are. It's like, oh, it's got to be creepy music. It's got to be in the dark, and it's like, well, actually, I'm going to have shopping mall music, and I'm going to set it during the daylight in a shopping mall. And I just love it. It's like Tom Savini with all his crazy monster effects, and it's a weird wish fulfillment thing. There's something about zombie films. It's like it would be fun to live in a lawless society where you can just do as you please. And obviously, at the end of it, you get ripped to shreds, which is the less fun part. But up until then, there's
For
some
the act.
weird wish fulfillment stuff about living through apocalyptic times. I think that changed over the pandemic when we actually had a little bit of a taste about what it might be like if the world ended. And it wasn't with complete freedom. It was sort of like the opposite of that. And it was like, no, I actually don't think the apocalypse is for me, as it turns out. But definitely Dawn of the Dead. Then I suppose, John Carpenter is my favorite horror director in general. So I would have to say Prince of Darkness is my favorite John Carpenter film because it's just so crazy, and I love the idea of people being trapped somewhere surrounded by evil. How are we going to get out? How are we going to escape? There's just something about that conceit. I mean, obviously, Halloween is amazing. The Thing is amazing. He's done so many great movies. But I would say probably Prince of Darkness, Jaws. If we're talking about monster movies, Jaws, genius, wall to wall genius. King Kong though is my favorite pure monster movie. The
Which
original
one? The very
well, the
first one.
original-
Ray
yeah,
Fay.
the original.
favorite.
No, it has to be the original because
Oh, okay.
there's something about. It's not only the fact that it's a great story. It's well told. It's the remakes were just far more bloated. The original King Kong was just much punchier, and it just really got going immediately. And I love the sort of mystery of it and the atmosphere of it. And there's nothing about King Kong that I don't completely love. From literally the first moments of it, from the opening credits I'm like completely in rapture even before you see King Kong. I find there's just everything about that movie is just sort of beautiful and amazing. And then so that's that's 4. And I want to go. I'll go for something. There's lots of great modern horror movies that I really like.
I was going to ask you what your opinion on those were, because we
I think
briefly
that,
mentioned
I think
weapons.
that honestly, horror movies today are the only genre showing any creativity and anything new. The only films that have any surprise. They don't need big stars. Horror movies have never needed big stars. It's always been the concept, the idea of it. It's why it's been a great breeding ground for new directors, for up and coming actors and stuff. So you don't get the personalities, the big personalities trying to take things over. Everybody's just doing like their best work to prove themselves. And there's just an energy to a lot of those films. I mean, just the other night we watched Borderline with Samara Weaving and Ray Nicholson, and that's really fun. I mean, the Sydney Sweeney film where she's a nun.
Oh yeah, Immaculate, isn't it?
Immaculate.
Yeah.
I love Immaculate. Thank you for saving me. It just for a moment had a senior moment there. I'm going to say Immaculate because at the moment, Immaculate and sort of like Ready or Not, also with Samara Weaving, are two of my. I love horror movies that are just fun. I'm not really into the sort of torture porny stuff. I'm not really into things where I find that the more sadistic side of things not really to my taste. I like it when it's I like things that are a bit sort of weird and perverse and just like wrong in a way, but right. And so I thought Immaculate was like amazing fun. I went to a religious Jewish school, and although obviously it's a different religion in Immaculate, a lot of the things that I feel about organized religion and the way it's taught and enforced is kind of were really in that. And it's incredibly profane and irreligious, that film. And it ends with Sydney Sweeney screaming at the screen. I mean, screaming for like 2 minutes. And it was like just a really audacious filmmaking. So I love Immaculate. Immaculate is crazy.
I watched Immaculate, and then shortly afterwards I watched The First Omen. I thought at the beginning that I was watching the same film,
the original Omen.
I thoroughly enjoyed Immaculate, and The First Omen I just thought was nothing. It wasn't good like in comparison. Like if I'd seen them in a different order, then
all the way around.
I think what I liked about Immaculate is that it's kind of. It's balls to the wall. It's just like he's a director who's like completely unafraid, and it was like he's gonna lean into the craziness of it. It's like I'm not gonna like. Is that too much? It's like it is too much. So let's do 10 times more. And it's like it's just so incredibly over the top. They see when they show them the nail that Jesus was crucified with. Someone's going to get killed with it. It's like, okay, let's
Chekhov's nail.
The foreshadowing is there.
is a crazy film, and I love
it's
that.
a film with
films
personality.
that have a sort of fiendish glee to them.
Yeah.
So,
what about crossovers, like horror crossovers, things like that?
Do you mean like horror comedies or
more like Jason versus
Freddy,
Freddy kind of thing?
They're sort of gimmicky and they're sort of fun.
Yeah.
They're sort of like they're fun to watch, and then you forget about them. Don't you?
Or Abbott and Costello and the
I mean, all of those
Frankenstein kind of
movies.
things.
I didn't grow up with the Abbott and Costello films, so I don't have that same sort of nostalgic feeling for them. I think that you have to have grown up with them to really kind of feel it, basically. But no, I'm up for anything mad and creative, anything where the filmmakers, where they're trying to do something original, where they're having fun with it, where they just go, what the hell, it's like when they don't censor themselves, when they go, they're not gonna worry about if it's gonna be well received, or that they're making the movie that they want to make. And
so as Howard giving you any has Howard given you any tips on something crazy that he did that's going to be something up your alley, in an effects kind of way that was kind of spoiled to you maybe beforehand? So like, oh, listen, Marshall, I'm working on this weird movie. I'm doing these effects. They're like over the top. Has that ever happened to you that you got caught onto a movie because Howard, your co-author on your new book, which we're also pushing,
Yeah.
has told you?
obviously, I mean, I've worked with Howard now. We've done 2 books together, and so it's quite intimate. You talk a lot, and so I'm very nosy. I always want to know what he's doing, what he's up to. And so, I watch all of his stuff, and it's kind of, I really enjoy it. He sends me props sometimes.
Is he really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's very cool.
From his movies. So he sends me
Wow.
body parts.
Oh, really? I gotta
Like
see this.
severed fingers and all that kind of stuff.
So it's like,
Is this gonna get me demonetized?
So
Wow,
his-
look at that.
there's an eye, and that's from Interview with the Vampire, season 1, where the little girl, she bites someone's face and she spits an eye out at camera.
Uh-huh.
That is the eye.
Wow.
These fingers are from American Primeval. There's a scene in the
Oh, wow.
in the last episode where a guy gets his finger shot off. He picks them up and he's still fighting. And so Howard sent me
Wow.
the fingers in like a sandwich bag. And there, I'm not sure if you can see it, but that is like a whole ripped off jaw from an episode of
What
of,
would
a
happen
Creepshow.
if the mail was intercepted and
you know,
I know that they go
the
through
first- the
stuff
eye-
a little bit
The
overseas.
eye came in a box. Howard's often sending me bits and pieces, and people often give him stuff like t-shirts or pins or stuff, and like he said he's trying to kind of get less, so he'll often just chuck it all in a box and send it to me. And he'll do like a note or say, here's some more shit for you, Marshall, and it's like I'm like rubbing my hands or
You're his buffer.
That's funny though.
yeah. So it's like, so this box came and I said to my wife, why don't you open it? I'm always opening all this cool stuff from Howard. So she opens it up and she pulls out this sandwich bag and it's got like an eye in it. And she's like, okay, you can open your parcels from now on.
Yeah, from me on, yeah. Wow. I think
Yeah,
one
only
thing
do it once.
that's gutsy. I don't know if people would realize that if you're going to write stuff and you're writing things about geeky stuff, I mean, geeks are the worst when it comes to details and stuff like that. Like that's pretty gutsy. You've got to really know your stuff and things. You've done a lot in relation to information and from movies to television to whatever. Like, do you ever get where people are trying to correct you, or they're trying to throw their
Actually,
Yeah, it does happen. And look, if you quiz me for my book, there will be chapters where I do not remember. There were a few things that were pure research, but most of it's just stuff that I know, stuff that I'm into. No, I've always had a really good memory because I'm interested in films and TV and the plots, the characters, the actors. I got that from my mum, all the behind the scenes stories, because I find it also fascinating and fun. I just retain it. I mean, if you ask me, anything about the real world, anything about actual human history or politics or how to drive somewhere, is like I would just be like a bug on its back, completely hopeless. But when it comes to film and TV stuff, knowing a lot has always been my sort of stock in trade. Like before the internet, I was the guy that people would call from pub quizzes cheating. Like they would disappear into the toilets and they'd go, Marshall, who directed this? Or give me 3 examples of that. And I would be like, I reel it off the top of my head. And, to some extent, that skill sort of became less valuable with the internet because everyone can just search the IMDb and stuff. But the thing about the IMDb and a lot of stuff online is that it's all bullshit and wrong and full of mistakes, and you can't trust it. So it's just been the obsession of my life, and I don't worry about it. If I find somebody who knows a bit more than me, then great. I want to tell me stuff I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes people go out of their way to try and catch me out, and I like to think that usually that doesn't work.
Give us a question. Give us one of your favorite kind of information questions that either from your book or one that you just have that's about something geeky.
I can quiz you, Jeremy, if you want.
Yeah, let's see if we know the answer, and then you can give us the further details on it.
Well, all three of you can
All right.
do the for the buzzer.
All right.
So it's either I have to go to the pages. So it's let's pick three.
Okay.
Stephen King, Steven Spielberg, or The Simpsons. Which one do you want? Which category?
Steven...
I can answer Simpsons stuff.
Okay, let's go for Simpsons.
All right. This is interactive storytelling.
I used to be completely obsessed with The Simpsons. I had an enormous Simpsons collection. I actually sold it before I moved to this house because I just needed to. I don't collect to sell, but I needed to make some space. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because Mike, who did your forward, said that you basically put Matt Groening through college, or at least his children.
Yes. Well, yeah, I had such a large Simpsons collection that I used to post about it, and I actually made friends with writers and producers and cast members through being just obsessive Simpsons guy online. You know, so you know, the internet has been pretty good to me. I gotta say, for the most part.
No cameo.
Good. Okay.
No cameo in the Simpsons.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Not yet.
No intro. All right. So give it to us.
How in 1992 was The Simpsons credited with saving the life of an 8-year-old boy?
In real life?
Yeah.
Was credited for saving an 8-year-old boy.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know that one. Do you know that, James?
No, I'm trying to think of possible ways, but no.
All right, Marshall, you tell us the story behind it.
I didn't think that my quiz book was that hard, but a lot of my nerd friends said to me that they thought that they were nerds until they did my quiz book, and then they just realized how little they know.
Yes.
The thing about that's because there's a Simpsons episode where Bart does the Heimlich maneuver.
Oh.
And because of that, I think it was Bart and the kids watched that, and they knew the Heimlich maneuver because of The Simpsons, and he saved his brother's life using the Heimlich maneuver.
Wow, really?
Wow. Huh.
So, you know,
I didn't know that one. That was hard.
It's all in this book. It's a cool book.
I learned from
The Simpsons.
TV.
Okay, give me a different one. Yeah, okay.
Same category or something else? Doctor Who, maybe?
Something else, sure. Let's try Doctor Who.
It's the Tom Baker years. I'm not sure if that's.
That's my years when I grew up.
If you can get a Tom Baker one, then I'd be really impressed.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the hardest chapters.
Time to impress.
Okay, let's see.
I have an easy one, maybe.
Is it canine related?
Always easy if you know the answer.
What's the name of the experimental prototype robot built by Professor J.P. Kettlewell, Edward Burnham, in Robot Season 12, Series 1, 1974-1975?
Is this an ongoing character?
It's related to what you just said.
Canine?
No.
Is it canine?
Almost.
Oh,
Close.
It's not canine.
It's K1.
Yeah.
Oh, K1. Oh.
Kettlewell robot with the big shoulder pads. It was like it came out of Dynasty 10 years earlier.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh man.
That was that robot was in the final John Pertwee story, and where he turned into Tom Baker, and that was exactly when I started watching Doctor Who.
That's when I started watching.
Was Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah. He was my first. He was my doctor. Yeah.
Something more into James and my territory. Batman the Animated Series. Last one.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Because we lived in that era.
Yeah.
I think that Kevin Conroy's Batman is unbeatable. I think that is my favorite Batman. When people say who's your Batman, it's like 100% Kevin Conroy, followed by Adam West, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
All
see
right.
if it's not too cheeky. Let's see. These are pretty deep cuts.
See,
uh,
it wasn't my best-selling book, I have to say, because
Really?
it's bloody hard. But I do have all the answers in the back, so you don't.
Yeah.
I find it's a good primer for the 20
Yeah.
different subjects that I wrote about.
Wow.
And
Right.
the answers somehow I often go way over and and talk about more than just the answer. There are some answers that are a page long because I just really went deep into it, because there's so much.
Sometimes you quote the
cool
scenes
and
as well.
behind the
Yeah,
scenes
okay.
info. It's like I want to share it all.
I like
All right.
that. Okay.
Which
Here we go.
which staple of the Batcave's decor features in Two-Face's almost got him tale? This is season 1.
Say that one more time.
So the hint is in the question. Which staple of the Batcave's decor features in Two-Face's almost got him tale? And Two-Face is known for one thing that he plays with.
He is coin.
Oh,
The
Two-Face.
giant-
The
the giant
you're
penny.
talking about Two-Face, the character. Oh,
The
yeah.
giant penny.
Yeah.
If you look at how Batman was drawn and portrayed, over how the Batcave was sort of shown over the decades, the two things that every Batcave has always had is the dinosaur and the giant penny. It's like, no matter what changes, it's always those two things.
That's true. In the comics too. Yeah.
In the comics, in
that's
the
true.
cartoons, everywhere they've got you got to have the dinosaur, and you got to have the penny.
I still want to have one of those Shakespeare busts from the series.
I got a Lego one.
Oh, yeah.
I got a Lego Shakespeare bust. Yeah.
They sold a replica once that had an alarm going off.
And actually, on my desk, on my light, I actually have Bruce and Dick going down the bat pole. Look, I'll show you.
Oh, really? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
That's cool.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm nothing if not consistent.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you
But I really love the book.
Do you come out to the U.S. very often?
Sorry?
Do you come out to the U.S. very often at all?
Well, I last came out to promote the to Masters of Makeup Effects. I'm going to be back in October. We're coming back at the end of October to promote Making Monsters. We're doing a couple of really big signings in Los Angeles on October the 25th. We're doing at the Academy Museum. And then on the 26th, we're doing this big all-star thing in Burbank where we're basically trying to get about 30 of our contributors. So basically you buy the book and you'll get 30 autographs inside it. We did a similar thing for the last book, and it was the most amazing day. It was so fun.
That's
so
very
fun.
cool.
Could
Okay.
you put some aside for us with the autograph?
Funnily enough, the non-attending copies sold out actually immediately.
I
There
bet.
may be some more. There may be some.
But
more.
it's probably
That's
because
very
of
cool.
the success of this one, right? Because I've seen this on Tested, I think, because those guys love it as well.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And,
That's
I mean,
right.
it's
Yeah.
a great book. It's a great book.
It went far and wide. It really we were very pleased about how it did, because you work your ass off on stuff. Look, I worked really hard on the quiz book, and that was by myself, and it didn't do that well. I think it was too challenging for a lot of people, and
It's right up my alley.
it got really well reviewed. But it probably got thrown across the room a few times for people who just got like, they're like, "Oh, I know everything about James Bond," and then it's like,
Oh,
okay.
really?
It's like maybe
But that's what it should be. It
I
should
wasn't
go
trying to
outside
make
your
people feel
knowledge
stupid.
base.
I actually thought that I was asking a bunch of easy questions too, but apparently they're an easy if you know the answers.
That's pretty good, though. I would think
Well,
that,
at least you put in the
people
answers.
want to expand themselves. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I just think
What's thrown
they
back?
call it trivia, but I don't think it's trivial. As far as I'm concerned, it's like it's not like it's the answer to life, but
Right.
I think that the stories behind the art that makes us who we are is not trivial. You know,
I mean,
I
I'm
think
already-
it has value to it, even if it's just fun and interesting. I think that there's some value in that. There's so much stuff out there, so many books, so many films, comics, toys, so many channels, so many TV shows. It's really hard to get people's attention. You know, it's I got a ton of followers on social media, but it's like, you know, it's just getting them. As soon as you get a follower, you know, they're never going to see your stuff again. It's like, actually, if I put out a post and it gets, say, 1 million views, I'll look at who it will maybe be 0.5% will be people who follow me, and the rest will be being put out to new people. So it's like, if you never want to see my stuff again, if you're sick of seeing my stuff turn up on your feed, follow me and you'll never see it again, you know?
Fun fact, though, we followed each other before we met.
Yeah.
Because I recognize him.
I have found that before, where it's like I made friends and then I realized that we've been, you know, following
already known each other.
It's like, I think that social media should be a two-way conversation, rather than somebody follows you and you don't follow them back. I mean, I don't follow everybody back, but if they seem like they have the right geeky tendencies,
similar interests,
then I'll always follow back. Always.
Well, we appreciate you giving us your time. I do have something I want to send to you for sure. I'll probably email you for your address at some point.
Okay.
Or for mailing.
Never say no.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this podcast and want more, stay tuned for that. But also check out our channel, join the community on YouTube that goes by the same name, Your Geek Fix. Be sure to check out Vinz on Twitter at MassiveDMG_ and on his YouTube channel, MassiveDMG. Check out James at Mr. Malto4 on Instagram and the Replica Prop Forum. To learn more about Howard, Marshall, and their books, be sure to check out the description below. In the meantime, this has been your Geek Fix.